Hi, all of you. Greetings of the day. So today in this particular session, I thought I'll give you an overview about visual pathway and its pathologies. I know this is a little complicated area, so I just thought to make it as simplified as possible and in an exam perspective. Okay, kind of a review. Okay, and I'll try to include or have included as many as like visual demonstrations, pictures, and shortcuts to remember things as quick as possible so that you can recollect in the exam. And I've not included too much of theories into this. Okay, I'll just explain it so that you can understand the pathologies better. Okay, so what happens is very simple. Light falls on your goes into your eye, falls on your retina, and now it's very simple. This light is converted into electrical signals by rods and cones. Okay, so you have got your rod con, just to give you the demonstration shape. Okay, rods cons, then it goes on to this electrical signals goes on to your bipolar cells. So see two poles here, that's why I've just made it kind of two poles, bipolar. Okay, bipolar cells, then it goes on to the retinal ganglion cells. Okay, what is important here is I'll tell you later on what is first order, second order neurons, but yeah, just understand the basics first. So your retinal ganglion cells, okay, then you know that there is an axon of this retinal ganglion cells which is going, is combining together to form the optic disc and just continues as an optic nerve. Simple. Okay, bipolar cells, retinal ganglion cells. Okay, now whatever you see on the superior part of your eye, it's forming its image on the inferior retina. Whatever you see on the temporal side of your temporal means temporal bone side, it is formed on your nasal retina. We'll explain this further better. Okay, now let's understand this particular image. Okay, this is something which you see on your left side. Okay, left visual field of your left eye. Okay, left visual field of your right eye. Okay, and the exact opposite. Okay, the red one is your right visual field of both the eyes. Okay, you'll understand this better. Now let's understand this. Now I don't want to complicate this by saying lots of terminologies here. Let's see an image formation here. Okay, and try to remember it in this way only. See, something you see on your left side of your face. Okay, just imagine in this way. You're looking and you're seeing something here. Okay, what happens? The light goes and enters into your, so this is your temporal. Now this is one term you have to remember. This is your temporal bone will come here, right? So this is your temporal left visual field. Okay, temporal left visual field. This is your nasal, your nose comes here. So this is your nasal left visual field. The exact same. Nasal right visual, temporal right visual. Okay, visual field. So imagine something you're seeing here. So it goes, okay, the light goes and hits from the temporal left visual field and it crosses immediately into the nasal retina. Okay, this is very important. This is the first crossing you have to remember. Anything coming from temporal goes on the nasal. Anything coming from nasal goes on the temporal. Same thing, coming from the nasal goes on the temporal retina. This is temporal bone, right? Anything coming from the temporal part goes on the nasal. Okay, so this is the first crossing. Okay, into the nasal. Just let's again come back to the image formation on the left side of your face. Okay, left side of the face. See, it's going like this. It's hitting on your nasal retina. Same for the other eye. So it's coming, only difference is coming from your nasal visual field and it's hitting on the temporal retina. Okay, now this is very important. See this blue. Okay, from the nasal retina, remember the nasal retina, the term retina is important here. Nasal retina, it goes and it crosses onto the opposite side. Now this terminologies are important. So what we saw here is from the temporal retina, from the nasal retina, two fibers of the optic nerves are originating. Remember we said the optic nerve formation. So you have your temporal retina, nasal retina, so there will be temporal fiber, nasal fiber. So this is basically your optic nerve. Okay, now the nasal retina side, the fiber of the nasal retina side crosses to the opposite side. Okay, whereas the temporal doesn't crosses. Let's come back to the image formation on the left side once again. Okay, this is how you have to remember. So left side image formation, it just came in, it went on the nasal retina. As I've told you, nasal retina fibers cross to the opposite side. Okay, now temporal fibers doesn't cross. Now what I mean here, left image formation. So this is again the left visual field of this eye. So same here, blue, blue. So the blue is crossing when it hits on the nasal, whereas here you, let's see, it's coming again from the left visual field, okay, on this eye, but this is a nasal. Okay, again a left field nasal region, or nasal left nasal field. Okay, so this eye we saw it's crossing. This eye again, it's a left visual field only, so means to say that you're seeing something on your left, it's crossing, but it's crossing on the temporal fibers doesn't cross. See this blue. Okay, so what I want you to focus on is your fibers. Okay, blue fibers. So left, something you're seeing on the left, nasal retina crossing, temporal retina, again this is on the left only. Okay, the temporal retina, it is not crossing. So you're getting something, you're visualizing something on your left, you're seeing that on your right. Let's okay, you're going to see it on the right. This is very important to understand. Okay, what you're seeing on your left, you're going to see it on your, this is both are blue, right? So basically this is not crossing, this is crossing. That's why I was saying you focusing you to understand that something you're seeing on the left. Exactly, you can replicate in your on your right also. Coming from the right, okay, it is going from the temporal field, going onto the nasal retina. So nasal will cross to the opposite side. Again, coming to this eye, again this is your right visual field. This also was your right visual field. So only thing is nasal, right? So nasal going onto the temporal retina. Remember, temporal doesn't cross, so it goes in. So there the nasal right crossed, temporal right doesn't cross. So whatever you see on your right visual field is finally processed on your left brain. Okay, that's why this crossing and all is important, and this one is here. Now see, let's understand this, what's happened so far. So imagine you have a problem, you can have problems here in the optic nerve. So this eye is affected. You can have the problem in the crossing region. What is the name of this crossing region? Optic chiasma or chiasm. Okay, the chiasm, it's not chiasm. Okay, sorry for the spelling mistake. CHIASM. Okay, or chiasma. So this crossing, only this blue and red. Okay, this one which is not crossing, you don't call it as chiasma. This one which is crossing, you call it as chiasma. Okay, once you cross and you get, see, as I've told you, something you see on the left, you see it on the blue. So both the blue together, this is called your optic tract. This is one optic tract, this is another optic tract. Okay, now it's simple. It goes onto your lateral geniculate nucleus on the thalamus. Finally, it goes in, called as optic radiations, into your visual cortex. That's it. Okay. Basically two crossing happening. What you see in the field crosses to the other side of retina, and then that nasal retina crosses onto the opposite side. Okay, now let's understand the pathologies. As I've told you, any problem with the optic nerve, you have got a monocular blindness. Means to see what? Something is cut here. What is going to happen? This eye is affected. Nothing else. Simple. Okay, this eye is affected. You can't see what is image forming on this eye, because this nerve is cut. Simple. Don't use too much of your thinking here. Okay, this eye will work, this eye will not work. Means to say, the term here is monoocular blindness. One eye is blind. So the question is, if there is a monoocular blindness, usually this happens due to trauma. Okay, this happens due to trauma, and yes, that's called monocular blindness. Okay, now let's come on to the next area. You have got your second part, optic chiasma. Like I told you, the nasal fibers cross. Okay, now yes, the problem here, what we see is bitemporal hemianopia. Now the word, I'll explain this. Hemi means, bitemporal means both the side, both the side, temporal field is affected. Okay, hemi means half, anopia means loss of vision. Now that's simple. Okay, I'll see this picture. See this temporal side, both the eyes, okay, half part. Now we're going to come on to quadranopia. The quadrant is affected, 1/4. So this is hemi. So hemianopia, bitemporal, temporal side, you have the temporal bone, bitemporal hemianopia. Why is this happening? Because, nasal fibers are crossing. The problem is here, right? And usually this happens because of this pituitary gland tumor, because this chiasma lies immediately above this pituitary gland. So in the question they'll tell you pituitary gland tumor or like that. So you have this being affected. What is going to happen? The nasal fibers, like I told you, is crossing, right? Okay, nasal fibers, the nasal retina fibers are crossing. Okay, so where is it coming from? Temporal field. So both the side temporal is affected. Okay, so that is called what? Your bitemporal, both the side temporal hemianopia, half of the vision is lost. Okay, bitemporal hemianopia, because simple nasal fibers are crossing, nasal is coming from temporal visual field. Okay, so I think this is clear. Now coming on to the next part, optic tract. Like I told you, some images formed on, now you understand the first thing I told you. Some images are formed on or you're seeing something on the left side of your face. So what is going to happen? The fibers are coming, the light is coming, okay, hitting on the nasal retina, okay, and it goes and it crosses onto the opposite side. On the other eye, again the left side you're seeing something. Okay, we're talking about something you're seeing on the left side. It goes on a temporal retina. It doesn't cross, but it is along with that crossed one. Okay, so a problem here. We're talking about optic tract. Okay, this is the optic tract picture. This is one. This is the one which is on the optic tract on the right side, which is coming from the left visual field. So this something here, what is going to happen? Your left vision will be lost. Okay, instead of what we had in the chiasma where your both side temporal was lost, here your whole left vision will be lost on the opposite side. So this is this side, on the opposite side. What do you call it? Contralateral homonymous hemianopia. Again, it is hemi only, half of the vision loss. Homonymous means same side in both the eyes. Okay, same side in both the eyes. So it's like this. Okay, both the eyes you have got same side. That's what I told you, the image formation. Think of the image, you're seeing something on your left. So both you're losing on the left only. Okay, you're seeing something on the left, both you're losing on the left. That's why it's called the homonymous, same side in both the eyes. Okay, but it is crossing, so it's a contralateral. Okay, but same side on both the eyes. So that's, see that this was temporal, opposite side, right? Both temporal. See this picture, same side on both the eyes. Okay, so it's contralateral homonymous hemianopia, half of the vision is lost. Simple to remember, what you're seeing on your left, okay, will be lost if there is a right optic tract damage. Optic tract damage. Okay, whereas here it is temporal, and here you know that it is just that one eye lost. Okay, this is temporal. You come here, the opposite side. Okay, opposite visual field. Okay, same side of both the eyes. The same side of both the eyes. That is the left side. Okay, so that will be your contralateral. Now I just tried to include the color combinations in a way also which will help you to remember. Why? Because see, optic nerve, I've tried to see, optic nerve is like, formation is blue red, so that's blue red combination. Okay, then optic chiasma is like, blue coming from this and red coming from this, so I try to make it as a blue and red. Okay, then optic tract, no, optic tract doesn't have a combination, it can be either red or blue, so I made it blue. Okay, the same applies to your lateral geniculate ganglion. Okay, lateral geniculate ganglion, LGN. Okay, so this is your lateral geniculate ganglion, but it goes into your thalamus. This is your third order neuron. I'll come to that. Okay, basically from your optic tract it is carried to the main centers. Okay, that is your lateral geniculate ganglion. So something happens in your lateral geniculate ganglion. Okay, same thing happened. Okay, same thing happened because it's all about your crossing and it is going. Okay, so same problem, but there is a minor difference. So your optic tract and lateral geniculate ganglion, it's a continuation, right? There's nothing much to say. Now, what about suprachiasmatic nucleus of hypothalamus? Hypothalamus is known for what? Sleep and your nocturnal things and all, day night. So this area just processes that, is it day or night? That's it. That's why it's going to a suprachiasmatic nucleus of thalamus. Whereas you come on to here, this is actual processing lateral geniculate nucleus. Okay, where the things are same, so it's all the same. Contralateral homonymous hemianopia for both optic tract and LGN. But what is the difference? So this is your contralateral. Okay, homonymous hemianopia. Okay, so yeah, I hope you understood that. But there is a difference between optic tract and LGN. So here you can see here some kind of incongruous. Okay, I don't know how to spell this. This is what the term they say. Okay, incongruous. The meaning is asymmetric or mismatched in both the eyes. Okay, though both the eyes have got the same side being affected on the opposite side of the tract, okay, both will not be, vision will not be same in both. Kind of asymmetric mismatch. You see something, both eyes different, and abnormal pupillary pupillary light reflex. Okay, pupillary light reflex there. Okay, so basically, should I correct? Okay, can't do it now. Okay, fine. Pupillary light reflex. Okay, sorry. So basically, what it means here is, okay, just to give, understand that you have your optic tract, you have got your pupillary, the fibers for your pupillary light reflex also traveling along with that in your optic tract. But when it comes to your lateral geniculate nucleus, this fibers doesn't go along with it. It has got a different route. Okay, that's a different lecture in itself. But understand that till here, pupillary light reflex fibers also come along with it. From here onwards, it goes in a different direction. Okay, so what it means to say here is, if the lesion is an optic tract, you have got an abnormal pupillary light reflex, whereas if it's your lateral geniculate ganglion, your pupillary light reflex is normal because the fibers have left your visual pathway route. Okay, it's in a different route now. And I've made this a very asymmetric mismatch kind of thing so that you can remember this. Okay, this one in optic tract. Why? Because by the time it reaches your optic tract, it is not very synchronized and made symmetric. The processing has not yet occurred in your optic tract. Whereas when you reach onto your lateral geniculate nucleus, the processing is much better. So that's why when the problem is in your optic tract, it is very asymmetric, whereas the problem is in this part, already the processing has occurred properly. So what happens, it becomes a kind of symmetric here. Okay, so that's the difference. Other than that, contralateral homonymous hemianopia. So if they say that there is an asymmetric mismatch with abnormal pupillary reflex, the problem is in the optic tract. And if they say that it is very kind of symmetric, matched, normal pupillary light reflex, it's the problem in the lateral geniculate nucleus. Now if you continue further, you have got your optic radiations. Okay, now this optic radiations is a continuation of your lateral geniculate nucleus, and it has got two routes. You have to understand this quickly. I'm sorry, there's a little complicated image. I'm going to put some rules here, but here you have to understand two lobes of your brain, temporal lobe and parietal lobe, where the processing of this particular part of your vision takes place. Okay, that is your temporal lobe. Now your temporal lobe, remember this rule number 1, brain area defined by retina. Before that, temporal lobe is below, right? Your temporal bone is below, your parietal bone is above. Remember, temporal bone, your condyle and all comes, okay, glenoid fossa comes in a part of your temporal bone. So remember, so it's below, parietal is above. This is rule number 1. So brain area is defined by retina means to say that your temporal lobe is connected with your inferior retina. Remember that. Inferior. Temporal lobe is inferior, parietal lobe is superior. Temporal lobe is connected with your inferior retina, parietal lobe is connected with your superior retina. Rule number 1, brain area is defined by retina. Okay, something from your, forget about the visual field, inferior retina goes on to your temporal lobe. Temporal lobe. Okay, vision from your inferior retina, remember this, don't complicate yourself. Inferior retina goes into your temporal lobe. Okay, vision from your superior retina goes into your parietal lobe. Rule number 2 is, or connected rule is, B is before M. Okay, now why B is before M? Parietal, the lobe, the fibers go and loop out there, and these fibers are called Baum's loop. Okay, basically we're talking about what? The optic radiations. I don't want to complicate things this much, but what to do? This is your optic radiations. Basically what happens is that this optic radiation fibers loops around this parietal lobe, and it's called Baum's loop. And the other fibers coming from inferior retina, inferior temporal lobe, remember, it loops around this, temporal lobe called Meyer's loop. Okay, so it's called IOR because inferior optic radiation, SOR, superior optic radiations. So why B is before M? Why did I say that? You're talking about parietal lobe, B is up, so B is also up. B is before M, right, in your alphabetical order. So parietal is up, B is before M. So parietal lobe, the optic radiations are called Baum's loops. Remember one, the other is understood. And up parietal lobe, it's coming from the superior retina. Temporal lobe, inferior retina. This is rule number 1. I'm going to complicate this further, but remember this. Okay. Now, pathology is defined by the field. So like I told you, brain area is defined by retina, pathology is defined by the field. Means to say what? Superior visual field is affected, you get superior homonymous quadranopia. Okay, quadrantanopia, whatever. Okay, superior visual field, the field is defined by the, or pathology is defined by the field. Okay, pathology is same like where the field is affected, but the retina, this brain area is connected, temporal inferior. But now you'll understand this better, I'll tell you, don't worry. Okay, and the pathology is defined by the field. This is a little complicated. Okay, now we'll explain this. Hope these 2 rules are understood. Okay, and now see this. Now you understand this. What are we saying? Or what did we say? This picture will be better. We said brain area is defined by the retina, right? So this is your inferior. We said nasal, this thing, nasal and temporal, and similarly you've got inferior retina. Inferior retina, inferior part of your brain, which is your temporal. Superior retina, okay, superior retina, superior part of your brain, parietal lobe. Okay, or superior optic radiations, which is above, as I told you, B is coming before M, Baum's loop. Now, to understand the pathology, you just shift to the other side. So, inferior retina, superior visual field, superior retina, inferior visual field. Okay, I don't think this will be that important for you to be asked. But now pathology is defined by, now let's see, something from your superior visual field. Okay, your superior visual field hits on the inferior retina. That's what this is. Okay, inferior retina, and it goes on to your temporal lobe, which is your Meyer's loop. Okay, so that's what it is, and the exact opposite happens. Inferior visual field, okay, hits onto your superior retina, goes onto the parietal lobe. Simple rule, pathology is defined by the field. Okay, so now if they tell you what is happening, superior optic radiations are affected, means what? Is the pathology defined by the brain area? No, it's defined by the field. So if superior optic radiations are affected, which part of your retina is going to get affected? Superior retina. Superior retina. Okay, superior retina. For that the field is what? Inferior field. So which is the pathology defined by what? Your pathology is defined by the field. So now if your superior optic radiations are affected, you're going to get inferior quadranopia. Okay, that's what I want to say. Okay, if your parietal lobe, Baum's loop is affected, your inferior visual field is affected, you get inferior homonymous quadranopia. Okay, or which is inferior means you look on the floor, something problem is there, pie on the floor. Exact opposite, pie on the sky. Okay, I hope you understood this. Now imagine they're saying some problem in your parietal lobe, optic radiation. So parietal comes up, so it's decided by your, or let's come on to temporal. Temporal comes down. So your lobe is decided by your retina. So it's down, inferior retina. But now your visual field, superior visual field. Your pathology is defined by the visual field. So superior homonymous quadranopia. Hope it's clear. I know it's a little complicated, but yes. And finally, you come on to your visual cortex. Now again, there is nothing to tell you, but here see, it's crossing, it's going on to the genicular nucleus, it's going on to the cortex. What happened was in the radiation part, optic radiations part, which was that superior inferior. Now you get on the cortex, the final processing is happening. So there is nothing but same like your optic tract and lateral geniculate nucleus, which is contralateral homonymous hemianopia. Okay, contralateral homonymous hemianopia, sorry. Okay, with macular sparing, that's the only difference. Optic tract LGN, same thing, contralateral homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing. That's how you define your occipital cortex, where the actual your visual processing happens. Okay, final visual processing happens in your occipital cortex. So some problem, some tumor in the occipital cortex, what you get is same thing, contralateral homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing. So this is the area, the central area. Okay, this area will be spared in your occipital cortex, but not spared in your this area, optic tract or lateral geniculate nucleus, because when you come on to this is important. The hallmark of occipital lobe lesion is macular sparing, where the central 5 to 10 degree of vision remains perfectly intact, because the posterior pole, you're talking about occipital lobe, okay, which is connected to your central macula, which is just 5 to 10 degree, receives dual blood supply. The other area receives blood supply from the posterior PCA, posterior cerebral arteries, but this particular area, okay, this posterior pole area receives supply from the middle cerebral arteries as well. Okay, that will be it. So that's the difference. Also, I think this will be very simple. Optic nerve, I don't think there is any doubt here. You have a problem here. So that monocular blindness, chiasma. The chiasma is a way that nasal fibers cross. So the problem will be the temporal field. So bitemporal hemianopia. So this is the only thing you have to remember, I think. Okay, once you remember this, rest all are same, right? Contralateral homonymous hemianopia, contralateral homonymous hemianopia, contralateral hemianopia, all the three are same. In between, you have got a superior inferior. Okay, so temporal, like, no, see, temporal is superior. That's why I've colored this part. Parietal is inferior. That's another way you can remember this. Temporal is superior quadranopia. The superior quadrant is affected, not half. Rest all hemi. There's only one superior quadrant is affected, 1/4. Okay, so temporal lobe or temporal optic radiation superior, parietal is inferior. Okay, cortex contralateral homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing. That's it. Okay, here there is no macular sparing. And this optic tract LGN, I told you, optic tract very asymmetric, and this pupillary reflex is lost. LGN not lost, symmetric. Okay, and finally you have got your every tract they will ask you which are the first order neuron, second order neuron. So first order neuron, like I told you, it's a bipolar cells. Second order is a retinal ganglion, and third order neuron is your LGN, this area, lateral geniculate nucleus. Okay, so I think that will end it. Very simple. Remember it. What's important? Okay, quick review. It's crossing nasal retina. Okay, the first visual field itself cross, then your nasal retinal fibers cross, then how to remember things for after that, something you see on your left. So it goes from the left, this is crossing, from the left, this is not crossing, you get your optic tract. So optic tract problem, you get same side of both the eyes on the opposite side being affected. So that is like it continues as it is even for your lateral geniculate as well as your visual cortex. The minor difference between these two is that symmetry and pupillary reflex, and finally coming on to your visual cortex, your macular sparing, and in between you have got your optic radiations. Like I told you, temporal is superior, parietal is inferior. Temporal lobe is what? Yeah, this is defined by your defect is defined by your visual field. So that will be the though temporal lobe is below, your anopia will be superior. Okay, parietal is above, inferior. So your brain area is defined by your retina, your defect is defined by your visual field. That's it.